Hi, it's a beautiful morning, dawn's just breaking. Walking through the bush out towards the beach. Don't know if you can hear them, but the birds are everywhere. It's quite glorious. So I thought I needed to tell you about the course. And I can't see you face to face at the moment. I'm down here recuperating. And I don't know how long it'll be before I can see you. And you'll have started by then, and I wanted to talk to you before you started. I was going to write it all down on a web page about the course, but that didn't seem a very nice way of communicating with you guys. I was thinking about it. I thought how I'd like to tell you is just go for a stroll with you. We'd go for a little chat somewhere beautiful like here down by the beach, and we could just walk and talk, and I could tell you about the course, and you could think about it, and we could plan together how you're going to approach it and do it and what you want to get out of it. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm taking my computer down. I don't have any recording gear down here, but my computer has a camera, so I'm heading off this morning to tell you all this stuff in a lovely chat that we'll have walking together along the beach. A nice journey through some of the beautiful Australian landscape. Essentially, I'm speaking to you from the future. I'm like a time traveller in a way, because I know how the course finishes and how all the lectures go, because I've seen them and you haven't seen them yet, because they're recordings that we made back in 2010. In another way, you're in the future too. You know things that I don't know, because you're watching this after I recorded it, of course. And maybe you know how this cancer thing works out. I'm sure it'll work out well. Wish you could send me a message. And that's what I'm trying to do, to send you a message about the things that I know in the future. To go back in time, essentially, and help you guys. You're now in second year. You've done 2 courses, Comp 1 and Comp 2, and now you're about to do Comp 3. Comp 3 is our design course. And I think of it as a journey that you go on. And I'd like to talk a little bit about journeys. What's a journey? I was overseas recently, visited sorts of places in Greece and Rome. Heard so much about them over the years. It was really lovely to go there just with my wife. We had a lovely time. Some of the travellers there were racing from site to site, because there's many interesting sites to see. And they were racing and stressed and busy and jumping on a plane and going on a train and a car, and today here, tomorrow there, ticking things off. And they proudly told us they'd seen 57 antiquities and taken 917 photos and da-da-da-da-da. That wasn't the sort of holiday we had. We took it slow and wandered round, and when we saw interesting things, like we saw the Appian Way, which is really interesting, we decided we'd just walk along it. And we went for a day-long journey, walking to Rome. I guess made me think of Spartacus. So we just walked along Appian Way, having a lovely time, talking and thinking and looking at the stuff. We had a wonderful holiday. At the end, the best thing about our holiday was the experiences we had and the lovely leisurely time we had. And thinking about antiquity, the old days in Rome, comparing it and contrasting with modern day Italy was interesting. Imagining what things were like back then, thinking about, I guess, the wealth and the notions of conquest and empire and all sorts of interesting things. It was fantastic, and how beautiful Italy is as well. Our trip was this great journey, and I know people who have travelled round, and they have quite different trips because their trips are all about racing from spot to spot, seeing as many things as possible, jumping back on the bus and racing to the next place. What was best about that holiday was that it was a wonderful journey we went on and the experiences we had along the way, and that for me is what a journey is. The journey is about the journey, it's not really about the destination. The destination is nice and interesting and gives you a motivation for the journey, I guess, but the real value from the journey, the things I'll always remember from that holiday, are not the ticker box list of things we did and saw and where we eventually got, but unexpected moments along the way and insights and moments of love and joy and friendship with locals and things that were completely unexpected and unplanned, but because we were open to it and we were embracing the whole journey thing, we had a lovely time. For me, this course, the design course, is a journey. What's really important about the course is the journey you go on in the course, not the destination, not the end of the course. It's not about mastering a whole lot of facts, memorising a whole lot of design patterns, learning the Java syntax, or any of those sort of destinations that we'll get to on the way. I mean, they're good, but the real benefit of doing the journey is the journey itself. It's a nice journey now, isn't it? Here we go, walking on the beach. In the old days, back in the Middle Ages, you'd learn your craft by first of all being an apprentice to someone that was already a master of the craft. And for your first year or however many, you'd be apprenticed to them and you'd watch them and you'd help them and you'd observe them, and just by being around them in osmosis, if not through explicit teaching, you'd start to learn their skills and their take on things and how they can do it, and it would lift you up and you would actually make actual works, or help. They would make works and you would make part of the works, and you would help them out. And slowly, whether you're an apprentice to Leonardo da Vinci or to a blacksmith or to a carpenter or to a stonemason, slowly you pick up the craft. And then there's often a lot of science and secrets of the craft, and you pick that up too in your apprenticeship, and that's sort of what you've done in the first 2 years. And then after a while, when apprentices learn what they needed to learn from the master, they don't hang around there forever. They go off and they become a journeyman. A journeyman is they head off and they travel around and they'd see other masters and other points of view. Often when they were leaving, the master would give them a masterwork, a thing to complete, a challenge. And they would wander around all the time working on this big task or thinking about it, about their own approach to the craft, and they would reflect a lot really on what they'd learned, and they would try and move to the next level, which is, I guess the first level is you do sort of what you're told and you do the little bits, but the second level of mastering a craft is when you take responsibility for it yourself and you see things through from start to finish, and you start to reflect on the whole process, not just the bits, and you become self-directed, self-actuated. You essentially start to become a master. You become independent of your master. This involves a lot of practice while they're away, learning lots of different skills in different places, and lots of thinking late at night and during the day about what they want and how it all works and what their own style will be, and what they've learned, and perhaps contrasting what they learned from and observed from other practitioners of the craft with their own particular master's way of doing things and deciding what they like and what they don't like. And at the end of their long journey, They come back. They show the master their work that they've completed, the big task. And they also have to somehow convince the master that they've now matured and they're ready to go out on their own, essentially. They normally do this informally or formally through a report of some sort. They just describe what they've done while they've been away. They show us a portfolio of the things they've done and thought. Not everything, of course, that would take a ridiculous amount of time. They just pick the most important things. They tell the master the reflections they've had on their journey and the thoughts and insights they've had and what they're now capable of doing, as well as talk about all the things they've done. Perhaps in a small, informal settings, it might just be a series of late night chats around a fire, telling the master the key points from their point of view of their journey and what's happened. Maybe it's a written document in more formal drafts. And if the master is happy with their report and thinks it shows that they have reached a level of maturity and reflection and self-actuation, self-autonomy, and if the work that they produce at the end, the master work that they hand in, is of enough quality to convince them they've mastered the production, creation, design aspects of their craft, then at the end they themselves are admitted to the guild or whatever it is as a master, and they can go up themselves. That doesn't stop learning, they keep progressing. It's not the end, but that's a really important step, because now they're recognised as, in a sense, being able to look after their own development rather than needing to be around a master and subject to him. Now, I want this course is like your in this course you're a journeyman. This course is your journey, and like all journeys, it's not the destination that's important. It's what happens on the way. It's what you experience in the course. At the end of this course, your assessment will simply be two things. You have to give us a report on what you've done and what you've learned, and we'll tell you up front what we're interested to know about in this report, but it's a summary of your whole journey over the course. If you don't do anything throughout the course, you won't have anything to talk about. Also, at the end, you'll do a performance where you'll show us your skills as well as giving a report. Those two things are your assessment. 50% performance at the end, 50% your report. The report is what we call educationally a MacGuffin. Your performance is what I like to think of as the battle of the bands. Here's what you're going to do in the course. It goes for 12 weeks. We've got a quiet week or two in the middle. You've just been sent on a journey from UNSW to work at Google. They're offering you an internship. Everyone wants to work at Google or Facebook, let's say Google. This internship is a fantastic opportunity. They're giving it to lots of people. Not lots and lots, but more than they'll be able to employ in the long run. It's just a 12 or 13 week trial. So you can see them and they can see you, and you guys can get to know each other and they can assess what you like. Potentially, if you get this right, you could get an offer to work there. I'm not suggesting you spend your whole life working for Google, but an offer to work for Google is pretty good. Go there and do good, my son. So here's the story. It's a 12-week intern project. In that time, you'll be assigned a mentor at Google, a Googler perhaps. Every week, they'll give you a small challenge to do, a small task, a design task, a labour. By doing this sequence of tasks, you'll learn all the skills that I want you to learn in the course and that they need you to know at Google. At the end, you'll produce a report for them, which is called the MacGuffin report. And in that, essentially, it's your CV. You'll say, here's why you should employ me. I'm good at design. They want to employ a designer. Here's my CV demonstrating that. They'll give you a task, a project to work on while you're there. Not these 12 little weekly things, but one big project. That's your master work. At the end, how you go in this project will really be what impresses them most. The project will probably fail. If it does fail, not because of your technical skills, because the technical demands it makes are not enormous, but because of your time management skills, because of your teamwork skills, or because you've not designed what you're going to do very well. The actual doing is easy. It's working out what you want to do that is the interesting and fun challenge for this particular project. You'll do your 12 tasks. You'll do your big project. Everything in Google, of course, is done in pairs. It's all pair programming, so you'll have a different pair partner to do these various things with. You'll write a report at the end, your MacGuffin, on what you've done, and you'll hand it in, and that's 50% of your assessment in the course. And essentially we assess it by thinking, would we employ you? We're Google, or whoever. You've just sent us your CV. Are we convinced that you're a designer? That you're capable of design? So the two assessments in the course are the MacGuffin and the Battle of the Bands, the performance at the end, otherwise known as an exam. In this you'll demonstrate your virtuosity to us under performance conditions, that you can pull it off, that you can do it, that you have the skills. There's two exams, a practical exam and a theory exam. The theory exam is sort of what you expect, probably. Just about the design content of the course. Everything that's covered in the lectures and the design tasks is examinable, and the project. But the prac exam is different to prac exams you might have seen before. Or it's a bit unusual. In the prac exam, we'll give you your project, your source code for your project, and you'll have to do something with it. Essentially, we'll give you a spec change, and you'll have to refactor your code to meet the new spec change. Now, this whole course is about how to write code that's easy to refactor and how to design code so it's flexible and you can change it nimbly like that. So, if you've followed the spirit of the course, you've written good, clean code, it's nicely designed, your craftsmanship's high, you'll find this quite straightforward. Last year, some people were leaving the exam in half an hour. And that's your strong incentive to write a good master work. You'll need to pass both those exams to pass the course. That's all. That's the assessment of the course. So the first course, craftsman. Second course, scientist. This course, designer. At the end of this course, we want you to be a designer and a craftsman and a scientist. At the end of this course, after finishing your journeyman year, you'll have an awesome collection of skills. It's like you'll be a brain surgeon and a racing car driver and a secret agent and a rock and roll star. Actually, the rock and roll star thing I should talk about a bit. To become this awesome rock and roll star, you definitely need to practice. You cannot be a fantastic guitarist unless you practice, practice, practice. You can learn all the theory in the world you want about being a rock and roll star, but nothing counts unless you also practice your skills in your mum's garage. Morning.
was wondering what I was doing. There's a lunatic on the beach. Similarly, in this course, you've got to practice. You cannot leave it all till the end. It's that whole journey thing I was talking about before. The journey's not the destination, it's what you do on the way. There's no point in going to the Battle of the Bands at the end of the course if you haven't been practicing all the time and can play awesome music. So I've got to encourage you to every week, make sure you set some time aside to do your practice. Regular practice is much better than doing it all in a rush at the end. In fact, I would go so far as to say you can't do it all in a rush in the end. You won't get the qualitative improvement that we want. Here's what you've got to do. You've got 12 weeks. In each of the weeks, over the course, you've got to spend about 150 hours to get a credit in the course. That's a lot of work. I wanted to give you a tip based on how people went the last time this course ran, and who it worked for and who it didn't work for, and what I learned from observing all the students and their results. If you think that the course is about the facts we teach you in the course, and you've just got to learn those facts, and you want to race over everything, do as little work as possible, do it all as late as you can, and race over in the few weeks before the exam everything to make sure you got it, which I know you can normally do in a science course. That's how I did my science degree. I completely understand. But that won't work in this course. And it makes people quite stressed when they realise that. And people say, Richard, your videos just ramble on and on. I just want to know the facts that are in the exam. Your videos really stress me. So I thought I'd tell you up front, my videos are really going to stress you in that case. If you leave it till the end and you want to do it in a rush, you're not going to be able to, and you'll be very stressed. And you'll think, why the hell doesn't he come to the point and just tell me what's in the exam? In which case, if that's how you want to approach the course, which is fine, everyone does course different ways, you should do it in another semester, not this semester, because I don't want you to get all stressed and frustrated. But if you're going to do it with me, here's how I tip from the future, how I think it'll work best, what you should do. You should think very carefully about what you want to get out of the course and your reasons for doing the course and how hard you want to work on the course. And you should plan that up front, like a New Year's resolution. And then you should try and stick to that. I think you need to, a course is 150 hours worth of work to get a credit. That works out slightly more than 12 hours a week. Here's how I reckon you should spend that time. You should certainly set it aside and plan to spend it every week. You cannot skip 3 weeks and then try and do 36 hours in the third week to catch up. It won't work, because you won't have that lovely qualitative sinking in time. You won't be going on the lovely journey. You'll be racing around trying to see all the sights in a rush at the end and get home with as many photos as you possibly can, which is not going to lead to the world's best holiday, vacation, journey. Okay, so here's what you've got to do. Say you're going for a credit, so you want to do about 12 hours work a week. Divide that roughly into 3. You've got 3 things to do each week. Set time aside to do them. One is you've got to watch the lecture videos, and you've got to make comments on them. I don't mean posting comments, though you're welcome to on the video pages. I mean, you've got to blog on each one. You've got to write your thoughts and reflections down. This is pretty important for your MacGuffin. You should there'll be 3 or 4 hours of lecture videos a week. So you should set 4 or 5 hours aside each week to watch them and to make commentary on them. And you should make the commentary as or immediately after watching each one. Don't watch them all and think, I'll write it later. Don't do that. That's not good time management. That's not going to end well. I can tell you from my own life, that strategy, however tempting it is, doesn't ever work well, or rarely works well. So watch the videos at a regular time each week, set it aside, have 4 relaxed hours where you're not feeling stressed, where you're not going to go nuts at my rambling. Concentrate on them, make notes as you go. That's it. Boom, you've done your first third. Second thing, every week you're getting a design task to do. You'll be doing it in a pair. That's 12 design tasks. I reckon to get a credit standard, you should be aiming to do about 10 of them. You really should be aiming to do them all. But, life and things. I'm sure 1 or 2 of them you won't get done. Some of them are important for design, and I put little asterisks next to them. Whatever you do, don't miss those ones, or you'll be doomed. You really will. You won't understand what's going on. Set time aside each week to do that. I suggest you and your design partner work out a mutually agreeable time, and then pair program it. It's 2 people, 1 keyboard, together, face to face in the lab. Do the most you can, set 3 hours aside, finish it, move on. If you don't get it done, Just do the best you can and move on. You don't have to work on it forever. I wouldn't want you to spend 20 hours on the first design task and then miss the next 3 because you spent all your time on the first one. Just do the best you can. If you want to do more, that's fine, but make it a controlled more. So the third thing you should do each week, for roughly a third of the time, 3 or 4 hours again probably is enough each week, if you're going for a credit, is to work on your big task, your major project. Every week you have to submit what you've done that week, a new release. There's many releases of the software. At the very end, the final release you take into the exam. Take this seriously, start it early and design it well. If you leave it till the end, it won't end well. My tip is aim small at first, put a lot of time into the thinking of the planning and the design, and stage it. Start small at first, get something very small and not ambitious working, and then gradually add features one at a time and get it working until you move to the next feature. Each release should have some new features added to it. You should have a reason for the features you've added each time, and that'll appear in your release notes. Why you added these features, what you found, what your plans are for the future, any bugs fixed and things like that. You need to do it each week, which means you'll need to set regular time aside with your partner. Which means, I guess, probably most importantly, you need to find a design partner who's going to work as hard as you. If you're going to bum around and slack off and have a good time, find someone else who wants to bum around, slack off and have a good time, and you'll bum around, slack off and have a good time together, and it'll be great. If you want to work really hard and regularly and consistently and do really well, find someone else who wants to do that. It's actually more important to match up with someone who has the same motivation and level of interest as you, rather than someone who's at the same level of coding as you. Most of the group work fails I've seen have been because of a mismatch between people's essentially motivation and teamwork ability. I suggest you pick your pair partner, your design partner, and your tutor will help you do this in the first week. I suggest you pick them based on their group work performance in previous semesters. So ask them if they've done any semester with me to show you their denouement or their portfolio and their teamwork and how they went in it. And if there's someone who got an HD for teamwork, they're a good person to have in your team. And someone who got a pass for teamwork, okay. So do try and spend each week. So each week, spend time on the lecture notes, watching the lectures, taking your notes, making your blog entries about them. Each week, spend time on your design task for that week. And each week, spend time on the main project. If you do that consistently and regularly from the first week, then this course will be fairly straightforward and easy. And at the end, you'll be quite amazed at what you've done. If you don't, then you'll be stressed. And you'll complain a lot in the last week that my lecture videos are frustrating to watch because I gabble all the time. And you're not enjoying the course. And that's sad for me when you don't enjoy a course. So don't do that. If you think you might do that, then flip to another course now. It's running in second semester in a more traditional mode, where I'm pretty sure you can not work very hard, leave most of the stuff till the end, go in for the exam, and you'll be fine. So we'll be on this journey together for 12 weeks. We'll have a great time. It's lots of fun. I really love this course. You'll get to work at Google for 12 weeks, which will be fantastic. Make sure you impress them, keep focused on what's important and what's not. Do the very best you can in the design tasks each week. At the end, provide an incredible MacGuffin. You can use this as an actual CV, I hope, when you start looking for jobs next year.
least it'll be good practice for that CV. Because I guess by then you'll have done even more amazing things in that third year.
Okay, so we're going to have lots of fun together. It's going to be cool. We're going to learn excellent things. Some of the things you're not going to believe how cool they are. They're really good. Yeah. Make sure you write a good MacGuffin. Keep thinking about your MacGuffin. You need to hand that in week 12 to Google and get a job. So keep it focused. Think about what's awesome about you and what you've learned and what you've done in the course that's been most impressive. Where your weaknesses are, think about them, because you've got to cover them and fix them up so they're not weaknesses. Or address them, or at least show people that you're working on them to fix them up. Your weakness for some of you will be your time management and your project management. So embrace that. Think about it. Work out and reflect on what you're not good at and come up with plans to fix it, because you're clever guys and I know you can fix it. Really looking forward to seeing all your MacGuffins. See you guys. Oh, look at that. It's a rainbow. So the sun's risen now. It's well and truly up. It's well and truly morning is broken. It's time to start the day. I've enjoyed this walk with you. Well, I've enjoyed this walk speaking to the camera. Hope you feel you've been with me a bit and you've enjoyed it too, and it's been useful. And looking forward to seeing you guys face to face. At the same time, I'll travel to your time soon. Okay. All the best, guys. See ya.